Let there be light, and there was light. Words of the said godmother Eve. So we invite the 14 gods who have harmoniously taken their positions within us. For if you're joining us for the first time, we are talking about the 14 gods that make up our being, the Amen. When you hear about Amen, we are talking about the species of man. It's actually it's saying like we are, or agreeing that you are from the man species. It's like a consensus signature. It's our total signature. It's the Amen species. It's the Amen being. So that which we are. So the 14 gods are the gods of Genesis, and nine of those gods have left external logos on us: our eyes, our nostrils, our mouth, our ears, and the open circles. So these are nine logos, which is recorded in the when I say recorded, they haven't said, well, we left nine logos on you, but the gods of course corresponds with those nine logos. So this is what we do. We correlate things, we say there's a correlation here, so this is what it is. But we see that we have this representation of the gods. We have the sight, we have the calling, we've got the sense of smell, or ears, and all of those words that I have just noted comes from the names or the functions of the gods as well, like created. So the word created, there is read or act in that word. And so here, for instance, we've got lots of words in the word created. So we have read, we have acted, we have ate with the mouth. So we can see that we could see there is a logo here. And moved, or here, for instance, I'm sure there's another word in moved. I did find another word. Okay, well, it's not coming now, but this movement, we are moving to create. Our tongues are moving in our mouths. And the said God, of course, when we speak of the said God, there is speech. When we see of saw, we are speaking of the sight. And there is the word eyes, for instance. The eye is 8, equals 8. And so there is the, I'm just trying to see, because I know saw equals 7, and how else it's like a saw as well. So if you look at a 7 and a saw, would be the similar shape. Divided, of course, the two eyes are divided, the two circles, and we could see we have two eyes in the word divided. So that is really showing us in divided, which is the fifth, number 5, the fifth entry. This is really explicit in the sense that the two eyes, their position is where the divided was. Now divided was said as in the waters. So but that tells us as well that the 7, which was saw, so the word saw, that is on the same correlation as the word sea, as in ocean. I'm really wanting to do this. Okay, but SEA equals 7, and we see here this is also coinciding with two eyes right here. So the eyes are like ocean, they see everything right here. So C and C is the and eyes. We are drawing on that correlation here. Also, of course, if we did add the two eyes together, that would be 8 plus 8 is 16, 1 plus 6 is 7. So that would also be with coinciding the soul, which is 7 here. We've got 7 here, and that is telling us, in fact, I hadn't even worked it out yet, but there's the 7 here, and 7 as the soul. So I'm showing the correlation here, which is how the gods are showing their mark, or their or their makeup in us. So we have the called God, which would be 19, and 1 plus 9 is 10, and of course 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. So 19 and the called, of course, we know we are calling. We don't only call with our mouths in our speaking, but we call in motion, we in gesture, we there's motion. So we are using perhaps every aspect of ourselves to call, which is and which includes the word all, to say all. Okay, and that is just as an example. And the word made, this is MADE here. Let's so that's the word. I believe that really means Adam. Of course, it is MADE, but and Adam has not got an E in it, but I believe that is meant to be Mother Eve's signature as the E at the end, to let us know that she is part of this, of Adam here. And of course, this is the seventh entry in the scriptures that coincide on the seventh day of rest, meaning and another thing that that we can pay attention to as well, the order, these have come in the order that they are presented in the scriptures. And so we can see made, it has the seventh entry, as I say, to show we seven as in the serpent, which is Mother Eve, or the present, the serpent as a present in the garden, that equals 7. And of course, with the there's another thing that equals even in the word 7, 2, but which has Mother Eve in the middle. But here we have 7 coinciding with number 5. So the numerical value, or we could say the expression number of the God, which is the made God, that made God has the expression number of Mother Eve, as in EVE. When we add these together, would give us 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So you can see that the cleverness, we could say, because this is what happens, because Mother Eve taking on the role as the serpent as well, it's like can go high and can go low, which is cunning characteristic. So that cunning characteristic is able to let one think, or able to have that made, but they are involved in that setting, in whatever is happening. So basically it's like Mother Eve is overseeing that creation that was happening. And of course, to make it more concise in that way, or to say see the validation of what I'm saying here, or the correlation, 5 equals 24, and 24 coincides with Mother Eve's first spell when she says, "Let there be light," and there was light. Those words came to 24 right here. And we have got 24. Of course, 5 is repeating itself here. So it's like saying that the made God was using the template of the moved God here, or mirroring, the made God was mirroring the moved God, which was the second entry. The second entry of the gods, or the second mentioned God in the scripture of Genesis chapter 1. And because in the beginning God created, so the created God was the first, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So that would be the second God here showing. And in that second, like we would say a split second, there was Mother Eve being presented here again, but indirectly. This is what we could say, indirectly, for now. So there's another 24 here. So of course we could see this is like 2 sets of creation taking place here. And of course, as I have pointed out before, when we look at this pattern here, which is 4, there is another thing we have been having with 4, because 4 has been silent in here, but it is showing us that it is the pillar that, or 4 is the pillar that um, we need to format within us. We need to have the structure of that 4 within us to be able um, to see or have, or we be that representation that is showing here. So 4 is a process that we need to go through. We need to go through a process to be able to make our news, or to be able to be in the news of our north, south, east, and west. Okay, but here, for instance, we have the 4 points here. We have 4 points here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we have the same pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a pattern. That is a set. There is a set here, and it has also ended on the set God right here. Right here is the set God on the 8th entry. And the 8th entry is where we are called, it's like saying, look, we are baking this cake, and is there anything else you want to add? Or like, someone's giving a speech, and before they close the speech, are there any questions? Is there anything you'd like to add? And that's what Mother Eve is doing with us right now. Is there anything we want to add? This is add is like and. Every time we would read the scriptures, we hear and, because someone is adding something else. And so this is where we are at with this set right here. And the set ends on 8, and the 8 is mirroring that 13 here. So basically 13 and 31 is the same. There is a match, they are matching here. It's like a cycle, a whole cycle, like the 8 itself is really being present here. Now with the 8, and we have 3, of course, for the 9th entry, the blessed God. We see that the blessed God seemed to have been the last thing that was given unto, or last blessing, or last the God, because the gods are our gifts, we could say. So the gift of the blessed God was like, this was the God who said, behold, I have given you all things, and no, behold, and God blessed them. And I think that's the blessed God that really perhaps said, well, don't eat of the fruit of the tree of life, or so on. I am not quite sure yet. But when the blessed God had blessed, the blessed God, in that very same verse, it is said, and God said. So basically in that verse, this is where the two gods will talking. It's like God bless and God said. So the two gods were in this verse, and if I am correct, it might have a correlation to do with 13 as well. Let's just have a look. If I can get this here, I feel it's very important to go through this. And if I could see the print right here, and God bless. Let's see if I can. And God said, behold, I have given you every tree bearing fruit after its kind. Trying to find the blessed God now. Let's go for a bigger print. Yes. Bigger print, a larger print. Okay. I'm just, okay, let's see. And okay, yes, so it would be on verse 28 and not 13 or so as I thought. But 28 is 10, and that means that's where 10, of course, 1 plus 0 is 1, 10 is 2 plus 8 is 10, and adding 0 plus 1, so we have 1. And that's where we have that cycle. So we can see how the called God would come into this equation. There is where a new cycle is happening. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Of course, the earth is also the heart. So this is why it's important. This is a text that tells us that everything that we need to do, this is the earth. The earth in itself is the heart, because the two are synonymous. They are the same letters. So we work from the inside out. Our main job is to work with ourselves, is to work with the living, everything that moveth, every thought that we have, everything that moves us. We need to pay attention to this. And in verse 29, of course, so the blessing was, and God blessed them. Okay, so the blessing was there. And 29 is God said, so this is where the said God came. Behold, it's like reminding you, behold, I have given you, behold. It's like saying, be whole, be everything, be all the experiences that is necessary for you to become or to be realized. So we can look at that. And then it's like, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth. So, of course, the external hair as well. And every tree in which, in the which, what is that about? What is that about? In the, as I said in my previous videos, without even saying this verse or understanding this verse before, the word the pertains to us. It has the sixth vibration. The is we are the. In the beginning, meaning in our makeup, in us, in the beginning of mankind, in the. So we are the. It's very important for us to understand we are the. And so, because in the which, this is, I don't know, but I have come across this not only in this verse, the witch. What kind of witch is that? Is in the spell. Because Mother Eve, of course, is the one who cast the spell. So there we are, the spell, the human spell, the Genesis spell, because Genesis is also 6. Okay, so so in that, of course, the spell has its fruit as well. It has the potential to bring forth after its kind. We can look at it like this as well. So in the which is the fruit is the fruit of the tree of yielding seed. In the which. So who is the witch, or what is the witch? That is very interesting. So to you it shall be for meat. Okay. And then we have the crux of the whole matter, because everything, this is the thing, whenever we read everything or every, we are hinging on Mother Eve, because whenever it says, behold, I have given you every is Mother Eve. This is the mother. It's like saying, I'm giving you after my kind, I'm giving you after me, I'm giving you all I have. And also in verse 30 is, and to every beast of the field, of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to every, so this is a lot of Eve's thing, and that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given. Again, even the word given has Mother Eve in it. That IVE in the middle of given is really a derivative of Mother Eve right there in the middle. So it's like I have, even the word have too, the VE, we are hinging on Mother Eve as well. So basically, I thought I would, and it says, I have given you every green herb for meat, and it was so. It was so. The word was as well is that it's the mirror image of the word saw, SAW, that really reflects the saw God. So basically, there is the seed of everything in that which was already created. It's like I've given you every tree that has that yields fruits, that which has its seed in it. So basically, there is another replication of creation, because creation in itself had its seed, it was or fruit that had its seed in it. Okay, and God saw everything, and God saw everything, meaning he saw again there was a division or a separation or subtraction, multiplication, whatever was going on, and he saw everything that he had made. He had made. The he as well also is 13. So 13 made this, and behold, it was very good. The word very again, it was Mother Eve. It's saying it's a derivative, it's Mother Eve. The Mother Eve is of everything. And the evening, again with evening, Mother Eve is here again. And the morning, of course, the morning we know of the rising, where the sixth day. The word six now, when we do the, of course, it's six, SIXTH, but when we do the numerical value for the word six, of course, it gives us 7. So we know everything was in that completion already. That's the end of Genesis of chapter 1. Okay, so I really wanted to talk about the letters. Of course, we have seen how the he has come about, and I want to also keep this short, but I also want to convey the information that is necessary for us to understand the 14 gods better. So, as I say, for us to really understand the 14 gods, we need to make a declaration or affirmation to commit ourselves to working in harmony with the gods. So to say, okay, I am ready to know the gods. I am ready to know the 14 gods that I am of, or that have the characteristics within my makeup, and I want to understand how they play out. I want to understand how they fit into my role, in my agreement, my contract of my purpose on earth. And with that, they would really say, okay, because the gods want to be recognized, and in being wanting to recognize in themselves in through us, we need to have to be receptive, and that receptivity in itself will of course guide us in whichever way we are meant to be. So there, as I say, it's like I could see a circle with these 8 gods here. Now we would say, okay, well, what's happening to the other gods? But all these other gods, the 3, for instance, this blessed God, as I say, is the God who was perhaps saying, look, you can't really have that tree or that seed, or giving that impression, or showing that there was less, or giving the impression of less, because the word less is here. And so, or lest, meaning there was, and then of course lest is past tense. So it's like saying there is a time when you will see that less to create. You must have an impression that there is a need to have more, or a need to increase. And since we were given the order or the command or the gift to say, I have given you everything, or multiply, increase, or replenish, subdue, and have dominion in the earth, they would need to have this connotation here. This is a illusion that shows us a need to create something more. And this is what it is about when we have a child. So basically, for instance, if we didn't have children, we would not have the faith that they can continue to the earth can continue to be in of any use, because there would not be anyone to till the ground, to have more electricity, or to increase or to work, because the cycle of life is as such. Even in ourselves, with the less, we would see ourselves less capable at some stage to be able to climb a tree, or to be able to run up a hill like when we were 12. This is the cycle of life. So this is what the 9 is about. And of course, this is why we have the ended God comes here as 5. The ended God, after we've been blessed, there is the ended God. But the ended God is that which has the essence of new beginning, and it's also number 5, as in Mother Eve. So we can see this is when we say we've ended, we start again and we say, let there be light, and there was light. And of course, we form with that vibration of light, we are forming something else. With the 7, there is 7, there we saw. There is foundation, because 7 has a numerical value of 2. And of course, this is the 2 that matches, it matches with 3 as well. So basically, we are doing another cycle here as cause, which has another cycle of 8 here. And it seemed like there's something I have just spotted as well. So on cause, the cause God here is also another cycle. So from 3, 4, 3 and 5 and 7 and 8 is another cycle right here. I have just now seen this. So basically, from the blessed God, the ended God, and the formed God, and the caused God is another cycle. And we see that with the brave God and planted, there we are having this other 9, like birthing newness as well. So this is why we have the brave God and planted God, they are together here. Okay, so this is something for us to continue to explore, so we can understand the gods. I hope you have got something from this. And of course, there's so much, because I really want to explore the letters of the gods. So do join me again when we get more clarity on understanding the gods and Mother Eve, and our makeup in, or our purpose in how to create man in our image after our likeness. Do join me again. Thank you for watching.